Good.
All right, so this is kind of crash course basics of Google Classroom. I'm going to try to get us back on schedule, but yesterday about 40 minutes was enough time, so I think we'll be okay. So this is just kind of the basics. I'm going to show you how to set up a classroom, some of the basic settings that you need to look at, show you how to create an assignment, and even show you what it looks like once your students have accomplished assignment, what it looks like on your end, and how you grade it. Okay? And like they said, next week, barring anything weird, the office is open. So I will be here. Right? You can come up here and get some one-on-one training. You can call and ask questions. Not a problem. Okay, so don't think this is just like a one and done, and then I'm never going to talk to you again kind of thing. All right. So for those that just came in, what I'd like you to do first is simply log onto your computer and then go to your school email address. All right. And while that's happening, I'll kind of say what I said at the beginning today, so your fellow teachers can have time to log on. Next week. It's what you need to remember is next week is not your first week of spring break. Next week you still fully have on your teacher hat as much as possible, because some of you also have little ones. But as much as possible from 8 to 3, just be in teacher mode, because that's when you need to start planning April 6th. Next week is when you need to start playing around with Google Classroom, trying to figure everything out and experimenting. So next week, for us, is not spring break. Okay? You still have your teacher hat on. Right? Because like Miss Rapier said, you can't come up with all this stuff the morning of April 6th. That's not feasible. That's probably not going to work. Now eventually you'll find a rhythm and things will take less time, but particularly at first, you're going to be going kind of slow. All right. So is everyone logged on to their computer? Yeah. Everyone in their school email address? Yeah. All right. So if you've never been to Google Classroom at all before, one of the easiest ways to get there if you don't kind of know what you're doing is just log on to your school email address, and then in the upper right-hand corner, there is a button. It's like 6 dots. I call it the waffle button. You click the waffle button, and then just click Google Classroom, and it will send you to, Google Classroom. And if it's the first time you've ever been to Google Classroom, it might ask if you're a teacher or student. Obviously, you will click Teacher. That's pretty important. I know it sounds silly, but make sure you click Teacher, or everything else we're about to do you won't be able to do. Okay? So is everyone in Google Classroom now? Yeah? Okay. And by the way, sometimes it might sound like I'm talking down to you. I'm not. I'm just in teacher mode. So please don't take offense. Okay? So occasionally I'll check to make sure that we're all together. Okay? So we made it to the Google Classroom. Right? And so you're all going to create your first class. Right? So if you go to the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a plus sign. Okay? Click that plus sign, and it's going to ask you if you want to create or join a class. Right? And you want to click Create. And when you do, a screen will pop up that looks like what is on my screen currently.
Mr. Smith.
Just a second, and then this switch out. Mr. Spooks, can you help Coach Sowers assume that it won't let him create a class thing?
Okay.
Yes, Ms. Boston.
This one has your student name, and your one that says you're a teacher now.
That's something Mr. Franklin created. Don't worry about it. Did you click the plus on yet?
It just asked me to ask the
I have to change a setting here.
Alright, Mr. Phillips, will you look at Ms. Bostic too?
Okay.
blow that trumpet out.
Alright, so on the screen that just popped up, it's all kind of self-explanatory. That's where you type the name of your class. The rest of the information, like section, subject, and room, I usually don't bother with because it's not essential. You can fill it out if you wish. You are going to want to create a Google class for each of your periods. You don't want just one big Google class for all 150 students. That is a logistical nightmare. You want one for each period that you teach. Okay? So now that you have created a class, right? Now that you have created a class, you can see the class you just created in your home screen. What I want you to do now is click on that class so you can see what it is going to look like. And when you do, you'll see a screen similar to what I have up there. Yours will look a little different. The picture up top might be a little bit different. But what you're looking at when you first go there is called the stream. That's where you can post announcements. Anytime you post any classwork, it's going to show up in that stream. I'm going to pause a second because some of us have some technical difficulties. I'm going to let everyone get caught up. Do the little 3 dots. And then you click that and it'll go to the top. Okay, so are we all on this screen now? Are we all kind of on the same page? I'm going to assume silence means yes from now on. Okay, alright. So if you don't like the picture that Google has assigned up top, if you just click select theme, you can change the picture. Just do that later. Let's not use time for that right now. But I do want everyone in the upper right hand corner of the screen, there's a little like gear, a little cog. I want everyone to click that now because I need to show you an important setting. If you scroll down, you will see something called streams under general. Streams. Everyone see that? Mm-hmm. Alright? By default, it's probably set to students can post and comment. I highly recommend you don't leave that because that means students can post and comment to the stream anytime they want. And I am not comfortable with that. I teach 9th graders. I think that's a bad idea. Now, if you want to facilitate class discussion, I have a plan B for that I'll show you in a bit. What I strongly recommend is you change that setting, to only teacher can post or comment. That's what I recommend. Okay? So if you agree with me, go ahead and change that. Right? And you will have to change that for every class you create. Okay? So every time you create a class, you'll have to click that little cog wheel and change that setting. Yes, ma'am?
You have to hit save, because I didn't hit save yesterday, so none of mine saved.
Okay, yeah, and then click save. Save the settings.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alright? So, once you've done that, you can X out of that screen and go back to what I call the home of the class, the stream. All good? Alright. So, now that you've created a class, obviously you have to get your students to sign up for the class. Each class that you create has a specific code. That code can be found on my screen. It's right underneath the title of your class, where it says class code, and it's usually just something very, very random, right? That's the code for that specific class. So every class you create will have that code. And you'll need to get that code to your students, right? You can post a master list on portals where you got 1st through 6th period. Let's say you have 7th period plan. 1st through 6th period. Inside each period you've got their code. You can then also send that out through the Remind also send it out in email through portal as well. Every grade level has a remind rep. Remember we did that at the beginning of the year. You can get that list to your grade level's remind rep as well, so they can send it out to the remind, because the students have to get this code to join your class. Questions? All good?
If we've already added them, we don't need to do anything, is that correct?
Yeah, if your students are already on the class, then you're good to go. Right?
So they have to sign up, we can't sign up for them?
You can, but you're gonna have to type in each email address for all of your kids.
I did that yesterday, and it was really fast, because when you click the first few letters, the name just pops up, and you just click on it. I probably did all 5 classes in less than 30 minutes.
And sometimes that works, but sometimes the problem I've come across in the years past is a student in class goes by Caden, right? But their email address is like Jefferson dot whatever, and yes, you can do it either way. I always get the code to them though. Yes.
Since if we get to come back on the 6th, we won't, as in band, we won't really need to use this. Should we wait until we know to add students, or go
Do
ahead
it
and put them all in
now.
there now?
You have to work under the assumption that we are not coming back on the 6th. I hope we are. We all hope we are. You need to hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So do not wait. You cannot wait. I know that I have teacher voice on right now. You cannot wait until Sunday, April 5th to get on this. You need to do it now. Yes, ma'am.
But go ahead and invite the kids to the class. I think that's what he means, like, because they'll know that we're planning to teach online. That sounded like.
I think you need to do it now.
Yeah.
You don't have to post any assignments for April 6th yet. We don't want you to do that for April 6th yet. But you need to get them on board. Right? And let's say we do come back April 6th. Keep using Google Classroom, even in band. They can post recordings. You can get information out to them. Find a way to make it useful, right? Because we all have to get used to this. Because now we also have to think, what if this ever happens again? We can't learn all this and the crisis go over and then we go back to the way it always was. The way it always was is not going to work in the future. And it's human nature to go back to the way it always was, pretend like nothing happened. Can't do that. The good thing about this is it's forcing all of us, being myself, out of our comfort zones and out of our routine, and forcing us to do things we haven't done before. Ms. Skelton mentioned that in our meeting this morning. Okay? All right. Sorry, we got sidetracked. But those are excellent questions, by the way. Yes, Ms. Bagley.
One more along that. We can set this for when we want it to post, right? Or
Yes.
can we do that?
Yes.
Okay.
You can create an assignment, and instead of clicking assign, you can save it as a draft, or you can schedule it. We'll do that later. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to share one other thing. Mrs. Wilson in her math meeting, she took her Google code. If you go to your portal page, instead of showing like a picture of the math book, it now shows the code. The very first thing the student would see is the code for that class period.
That's a good idea too. So if you didn't hear what Ms. Kemper said, she got an idea from Ms. Wilson. You know, when they go to portal, how there's always that picture there. She replaced the picture with that period's Google Classroom code, which that's pretty genius. Thank you, Ms. Kemper, for sharing that.
I have a
Okay?
question, real quick.
Yes.
Some of the kids that we teach are, I think it's 13 and below, so they have their own personal email account.
If they don't have a school email address, they can't get on Google Classroom.
So we can't do that.
So 6th grade and above have it. 5th below do not.
All right, so what do we need to do in that situation?
Use portals.
Okay.
You're good. That's correct, Ms. Rapier. He's asking 1st through 5th. They don't have a school email address. I know they can't get on Google Classroom, so they're gonna have to make effective use of portals.
Yes, and then you can in your portal then attach the link to your Google Classroom, and then they can go into your Google Classroom, and they might have to use mom and dad's.
No, ma'am.
You can't.
No, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If they don't have a school email address, they cannot use Google Classroom.
Okay, sorry.
Okay?
So you're saying just email assignments, basically?
You post it to the portal.
Post it to the portal.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the portal.
And for expedience, just post it to all of them, that way they're getting it twice. Any information, they're getting it twice.
Yeah, like my portal now says for the week of March 23rd through 27th, go to Google Classroom, click the classwork tab, and under the heading March 23rd through 27th, you'll find that week's assignments. They are all due March 27th by 11:59 p.m. So that's what my portal says. Yes, ma'am.
Well, and I even took, per class period, I went and connected a link. So if they click on their class period, and they can click directly and link into their Google Classroom.
The good news is, if it's the students 7 through 12, they've all used Google Classroom at some point this year. So that's for them. This is not new. For 6th grade, it's
I
new.
think they did it with Miss Hall. They did a little project, so
Good.
I think they have.
Good. That's good news. I didn't know that. All right. So we got to move on. I got to show you how to do things. Okay. So click the classwork tab, and it will send you to a new screen where you now see a new button, kind of the top left area, titled Create. Okay. So you click that button, it shows you all the things that you can create, and I will get to as many of these as I can with the time that I have allotted. So you can create an assignment, you can create a quiz, you can create a question, which is exactly what it sounds like. You just pose a question. Material, and I'll get to that in a bit. And then topic, and I'll try to explain topics in just a second as well. Okay? So what I want everyone to do now is click assignment. And you'll get a new screen. Okay? So, good news about Google Classroom came up yesterday is it's pretty user friendly. It's not like Portals. I describe Google Classroom as Portal's more successful brother. Okay? It's a little easier to figure out than Portal. So the title, that's what it sounds like. That's what you want to title the assignment. Instructions, those are the directions for the assignment. Exactly what it sounds like. Now on the right side of the screen, that's where you have all the details. Right? So where it says for, let's say you have one assignment and you want to go to all your classes. You don't have to create the assignment 6 different times. If you click the drop-down box, you only have one thing listed. I have a whole lot listed. I can create this assignment and I can click all the periods or all the classes I want this assignment to show up on. It's just like when you create a column in our electronic gradebook, how you can only have to create it once, but you can set it up to show up on all your gradebooks at the same time. Okay, so that's a handy tip. And then all students, I always just leave that because I always want my assignments to go to all my students. But if for whatever weird reason, if you wanted that assignment to only go to Stephen, right, you could find Stephen and just click him, and only Stephen would get the assignment. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but that's doable. Right? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't know if there is a magical button that I don't know about, but once you have posted an assignment and you want to make a small change, I have to go into each of my classes. Is there a way I can edit?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so think before you make the
Yeah,
assignment.
it's just like your electronic gradebook. Same thing. Once that column is posted, it's there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Points is what it sounds like. Yes, Coach Seymour.
I was going to ask too a question, if I may. When you're putting your assignment on a class period, is there a way that you can post it to all your periods, or do you have to go to each individual one?
Yeah, so where it says
Did y'all
4.
just ask that? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I just said it, but that's
I'm trying to
okay.
get on my file.
Where it says 4, if you click that, all your classes show up, and you just select the classes you want the assignment to go to. Okay, all right. Points, like I said, is what it sounds like. You can, make as many points as you want, or you can even make it ungraded if you want. Okay, like if it's practice, you make it ungraded. Due date, you can select the due date from the calendar. You can even get specific and pick a specific time on that day you want it due. But remember what we said in our meeting today, we want everything posted by 8 a.m. Monday and have it due on Friday, 11:59 p.m. Right? And that gives students flexibility. And remember, 3 assignments, right? Not 5, not 1 per day. Three assignments, and each assignment should only take around 40 minutes max. If you can create a quality assignment that takes less than 40 minutes, do it. Yesterday, it made me rethink some of what I've been doing, right? And it made me kind of reevaluate some things. Yes, Coach Sowers.
So that wasn't just a generic recommendation on that's what you want us to do for next week, that everything will be due Friday at 11:59.
Yes.
Okay, so let's give in April 6th, we come back. Are we still making everything due the Friday of that week, or can we plan it for whenever?
Because we can tell people to do April 6th when they get back.
Okay, I'm
No, I mean like if we're out April 6th.
Yes. If we're
So
out-
do you want us still to schedule all assignments to be done by that Friday, the April 10th? Or can we just start telling them when it needs to be due?
You've got to give them a lengthy amount of days to get it done. In case
I understand
they don't.
that. I mean like even extending it beyond that,
Oh,
or
no, I would not extend it beyond that, because you are dealing with children. Now, if they've got extenuating circumstances, then yes, you extend individually. But you don't wanna put these assignments and tell them it's 2 weeks out. They're not gonna do it.
well, if you have like if I have a project.
Okay, if you have a project, that's a little bit different. Yes, yes. Now, those expectations are for traditional classroom,
Okay.
traditional assignments. But if you had a project, absolutely, you would extend your deadline. Great.
Excellent
A
question.
paper, if you were doing a paper, you would extend your deadline. Yes, thank you for asking that. That's good.
All right, good. Okay, and then topic, that helps you sort information. So let's go ahead and create a topic. Click Create a Topic. All right, and what I would do is I would create a topic with next week's dates, March 23rd through 27th. Okay, I stole this from Mr. Franklin. And what that does, I'm going to show you one of my finished classes for next week so you can kind of visualize it a little bit better. So what it does, all 3 assignments for next week, I have assigned it to the topic March 23rd through 27th, and so it all shows up nice and neat and organized for them. So for every week we're not here physically, I'm going to make a topic for that week so it stays organized for the students.
That's great.
And that was all Mr. Franklin. I gotta give him credit for that. All right. Yeah, you can make a topic for anything. You can tell. Luckily, I finished my research paper before the crazy. Thank you. But for a while, I had a topic titled research paper, where anything they need a research paper related, it could make it really easy for them to find. And what's really cool is the topics also show up on the far left, and they could just simply click next week's date, and then there's everything for the week just on that screen. So it's just a way of organizing the information, your topics. Yes, Coach Seymour.
If we have not given our research paper yet, and I wish I'd done it already too, but do we hold off on that, not overwhelm them, or what?
I do not recommend trying to.
Wait till the middle, later part of April.
They're here. Okay.
And could you give it to them and stretch the due date out a month?
Let's talk after April 6th.
Yeah.
To even determine if we're still going to move forward with that.
Yeah, and here's something that I came to terms with because I'm a person of routine. Some of the things that I've always done, I can no longer do if we don't come back. Right? And there will be some material that I won't get to this year if we don't come back. Because everything's taking longer because we can't overwhelm them. Right? So there's just might be things that they don't learn this year in my class. And what I have to remember right now, perspective, if they don't know the minutia of the early life of Adolf Hitler, but they're still breathing and mom and dad have a job, that's what matters. Does that make sense? Now, I'm still going to do my best to create the best educational experience possible in the situation, and because I take pride in my work. But I'm going to have to remember perspective. We are all going to have to remember perspective. Priorities have shifted dramatically since just last weekend. And we all have to come to terms with that. And I think we are. I think some of us, it takes a little longer. It took me a long time to do that. But yeah, if they don't get a research paper their 11th grade year this year, I hope they do. I hope we can figure something out, but we're not going to cry over it. All right, I've got to hurry up. Now, Miss Rapier. No, my session yesterday didn't get recorded, so never mind. All right, that didn't work. So, now, there are a couple of things that you can do with an assignment. Your instructions could be simply, say, upload the document that you have created, and they can attach the document, all right? Or you can attach the document to it as well. If you click the little add button where there's a paper clip, it gives you options. I recommend, if you don't use Google Drive, you need to transition your life to Google Drive at this point, okay? But you can select something from Google Drive or from a file saved on your computer, or even a YouTube video, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to pick something random from my Google Drive for an example. You would just find whatever it is you want to attach, click it, and then click Add. And then it attaches it to the assignment. And the default setting is students can view file. That means all they can do is look at it. Like literally just view it. And that's it. Okay? But you have two other options. Students can edit file. What that would mean is everyone in the class would be looking at that one single document, and they could all make changes to that one single document. It'd be like everyone in your class working on one worksheet, like all around it in a circle, all working on it. That's what that means, okay? The last option is make a copy for each student. That's what I use the most. If you click that option, every time when the student opens up that document, it makes a copy of it, and it now lives in their Google Drive, even puts their name on it for you, and that's like handing each child an individual worksheet in class. Does that make sense? And that's what I use the most. Okay? Now, I said I'd give you a workaround if you wanted to facilitate discussion, but not set your settings to where students can post and comment on the stream, because I think that's highly dangerous. And Mr. Foots helped come up with this idea yesterday. What you can do, now I'll show you the example that we came up with. What you can do is attach the document. Now at the top of that document, have the question you want to pose to the class, the discussion question. Okay? And then when you create the assignment and you attach the document, right? I shouldn't have closed that screen out, I'm sorry. You actually would want to click that second option, students can edit file. Okay? Because that will create one document everyone in that class can see and add to. So you can pose a question at the top of that document. Now I can show you my example. You could pose a question, discussion question at the top of that document. I just typed "How are you?" That's all I could think of. And insert a table. This is Mr. Foots' idea. Insert a table. Right? The student can type up their name and then their answer. Or you, in advance, can type in the student's name so they know exactly where to type their answer to the question. And so everyone can see everyone else's answer. It could help facilitate like a class discussion. Because with that second setting, the whole class is just looking at that one sheet of paper. It's a way of thinking about it. And that could facilitate class discussion without letting everyone post whenever they want on your stream, whatever they want. Because like I said, that could be a little dangerous. Yes, Ms. Chester.
What's the third option, to make a copy for each student? What is that?
That literally creates a copy of that document for each student. It's like giving each student a copy of the worksheet.
If they want to fill in answers, they can add to it. And it's
Yes.
all-
Yes.
They can add to it.
Yes.
What's the benefit of doing that, making a copy for each student?
Here, I'll show you.
Like a handout.
So, with next week, right, one of my assignments is they need to watch my lecture videos and read a certain part of the textbook and then answer these questions. And the students can then type their answers in this document and return the document to me.
How do they return it?
I'm going to show you that in a second, okay? And return the document to me. So each kid gets a copy of this, where only they can type on it. Type on it.
That's probably what we want to send to them then, right?
Most of the time, yes. That's like giving each kid a worksheet. Just like you would in class, how you hand out worksheets. That's what that third option is.
All right, so if we say students can edit file, that means every kid can get on that and edit that file, and we don't know who it came from, basically.
Well, you can figure it out, yes.
But-
There are options, but you would really only want to do that if it's like a class discussion kind of option.
I see.
But if it's something that in a class would be like a worksheet, like a typical worksheet you would hand out, you want that third option, make a copy for each student. Okay? Everyone kind of good so far? All right. How much time do I have left?
Got a question over here.
10 minutes? Okay, yes.
Can you use a form to kind of do the same thing, or are those a little bit more complicated?
No, you can use a form, and you can
Yeah.
use a form for assessments and quizzes as well.
Okay, like
Okay.
what if you wanted like short answers and stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay, so Ms. McSween asked how do they get it back. All right. Let me go back over. So Mr. Foots has created a fake student named example student. So we can see what it looks like on the student end. So let me find my example. Terribly sorry. Okay. So on this assignment, for example student, I have attached a document. I want them to open up the document. And I want them to follow the directions on the document. This is like a fill-in-the-blank guided notes kind of scenario where I'm using it next week. 4 of my students already did it. I looked yesterday and they did it right. I was like, all right. Made me feel good. So when the student is finished, there's literally a button up top that says turn in. So when they are finished, they literally turn it in to you. Right? They can click that button in the document, or they can go back to the Google Classroom and click the blue turn in button. Yes, Ms. McSween?
I actually did a guided reading, but I did it in forms. What do you think, forms versus this? Any pros or cons? Just my preference?
Just your preference. I like using Google Docs for things like that because to me it's just faster to work with. Google Forms I would use for more like an assessment tool, like creating quizzes and stuff. But it really is preference. Yeah. Tomato, tomato, etc. Yes.
I could actually copy and paste out of the document that I have and put it in there, in that Google Docs, because I can't do that in forms. I have to copy and paste. Would that be okay?
It's a document in Microsoft Word.
Yes.
Yeah, you can upload that document to your Google Drive and open it up, and there's actually, if you then click File, I want to say it's Save As or Convert to Google Doc, and they'll like make a copy of it and make it a Google Doc. Now some of your formatting might shift around a little bit, but yes, ma'am, that is an option. If you need me to show you how to do that, I can do that later. Yes, Ms. Wyatt?
Okay, they push the turn it in button. Where does it go? Like, where are we gonna find it?
All right. So now I'm going to go back to my teacher view here. Okay. Let me see here. trying to find something they've turned in. Give me a second. Terribly sorry. Oh, I know. I'll just show you the duh. Alright, so this is some of my stuff for next week. Some of my students have already done. And you can see that it tells me 2 have turned it in, 22 have it assigned to them, but they haven't turned it in yet. Okay? I can then just click where it says 2 turned in, click right there, and it opens up the screen. Zoom out. So those are the 2 students that have done it, right there. Okay? I can then click their document, and it opens up in a new tab, and I can see their answers. I can see what they typed. I can then leave a private comment like, good job, way to go, thanks for being on the ball and doing it early, which is what I'm going to do later today to these early birds, and then type in the grade, and when I'm done, I can click the blue return button, and it's like returning the student's work back to them in the class. It's like handing them the graded worksheet back.
What does the drop down next to it do? Return all? Yeah.
Yeah. And you can return them in a batch as well. I was going to show you that in a second. And then from here, if I click this little arrow, can you see my cursor where it is?
Yeah.
That just shoots me to the next kid in alphabetical order. Obviously, Dusty has not done it yet. That's okay because it's not due yet, right? Or I can simply go back to this screen and just click on the ones that have done it. And it sorts the students by default. It sorts it by status, done and not done. But you can also sort it by last name or first name. Yes, Mr. Foots?
Can you open one of those back up?
Absolutely. I'm about to learn something new. Awesome.
Okay. When it comes up, sometimes it's a little slow.
Yes.
You see the student's name in the left?
Yeah.
Click that.
Click it.
Click it. All right. You see the sorting at the top. You also see the status.
Oh.
So you can sort by status, sort by last name, sort by whatever else those other options are up there. So it just depends on how you want to sort it, and then the arrows will be in the order that you want them to be to just cycle through all the students. Or you can skip around using that drop down.
Genius.
If you had them put in what class period they were in, that won't be up there.
It's by, yeah, it's by your Google Classroom. So if
You
have
want to
5
create a
Google
class for each class period.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you just create one Google class, you're going to have 150 kids in that one Google class. And that's an organizational nightmare. Okay?
And then you put the grade in separate portal? What's your point?
Yes. Yes is the short answer. Long answer, you can make Google Classroom and Electronic Gradebook talk to each other, but there are multiple steps and it's a little involved, and I don't have time to show that right now.
But it can be done.
But yes, it can be done. It is doable and possible. Yes, Ms. Chester.
Alright, so I'm creating an assignment, I attach a document, and I realize it's the wrong document. How do you delete it to the next one?
Have you posted the assignment at this point? No? Okay, that's easy. So you're in the process of creating the assignment and you have attached the wrong document and you realize it's the wrong one and you just click this X button here and they say,
Okay, what if you accidentally post it?
you can edit the assignment. So if you want to edit an assignment, you see these 3 little dots right there, click that, click edit, and then you could
Delete and add.
Yeah. Yes,
I
ma'am?
apologize if you already said this. Can you you know how Remind can schedule stuff to go out? Can you schedule things on Google Classroom?
Yes.
Yes. Alright, so create an assignment,
You didn't give her the look you gave me. I mean, come on.
Because I had just answered your question.
You're gonna answer that too. See, I caught
But see, I
that.
haven't covered it yet, and it's a good and valid
See,
question.
you caused the student now. You caused the student now not to trust you and look at you by the way you acted on that.
Hey, Coach Seymour, this is my not caring face.
And this is mine.
So, hey, we're gonna get that on video. So, Miss Shaw.
Yes, thank you,
All
sorry.
right. So, instead of clicking assign, you click the little drop-down box,
Yes.
schedule.
Perfect, thank you. That's all I need to know.
Okay. And save draft is kind of what it sounds like.
Oh, well,
It's
yeah.
while you're still working on an assignment and you're not sure it's ready to go out yet.
Yeah.
Save draft. So you can still see it, but they won't. So this weekend, I'm going to go ahead and create my stuff for April 6th. I'm not going to post it, alright, because I listened in the meeting. I'm going to click save draft. And then as soon as once we know what's happening, I can easily then post it. Yes, Mr. Foots?
Also, clicking the X to the left of the word assignment, after, if you've changed something and waited a second or two, clicking that X is also the same as save draft.
Yeah.
It'll do the same thing.
I did not know
It won't lose
that.
your word. If you wait a second after you type something, give it a second to auto-save, then you just closing it out will save it as a draft.
Cool. I learned 2 new things. Some sauce. Alright. I probably have 5 minutes left. I just want to point.
You got 2. You got 10.
I've got 10. Okay. I want to point some more things out to you that you can create. All right. Quiz assignment. If you click that, the screen's a little bit different. You'll notice it already has a document attached, like automatically, and it's a blank Google form that you would then click on. And it would bring you to that form, and you would then begin to turn this form into the quiz. So that's an option. You can also create a quiz separately in Google Forms and attach it to an assignment, which is probably the more wise thing to do. Because if you start creating quizzes in Google Forms, you're going to want to make a copy of that quiz, one for each of your periods. Makes it easier to stay organized. Do you agree with that, Mr. Debski? Because you use it far more than I do.
No, I have my 3 honors classes and my 3 non-honors classes in their own Google Classrooms. And every Google form I design has the first 2 questions. What period are you in? And what is your name? And so I always download things to Excel. I sort by period, sort by last name, and everything works fine for me. So I have 2 classes of 75 students approximately. But that works for me.
Yeah, but if you're not Excel savvy and
I know. I
and
do
you want to avoid a
everything through
step,
Excel. My students
once
know.
you make that quiz, you can just make as many copies of it as you want. So if I have 6 periods, I'd probably want 6 copies of that quiz. And I would even label it like first period quiz, second period quiz, third period quiz, and then attach that third period quiz with my third period Google Classroom to make things nice and neat and organized. Yes, Mr. Woods.
If you have separate Google Classrooms and you use one quiz, you can pull the grades from the quiz to that Google Classroom. So you can still use the one quiz for all 100 whatever of your students, one quiz form, and it'll just pull them to the grades to that Google Classroom assignment column, and then you can transfer it to your online grade book or however you want to do that. So we can separate them from the same.
I learned 3 new things in 5 minutes. Yes.
So say I were to create an assignment, a very simple assignment where the students were to maybe watch a video and then give me like a short answer type response to it. What's the easiest format for getting that response? Would it be like a document, or is there an easy way just to make like an answer bubble at the bottom of the assignment?
All right. You can go create question.
Okay.
And pose the question that you want answered.
So that's
okay. And then attach the whatever video.
Sure.
So that might, for that specific scenario, that might be these.
Right, and that's different from the assignment one. That's in the drop down. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And while I'm here at question, if you create a question, you make a short answer or multiple choice right? But it's literally, it's exactly what it sounds like. You are creating a singular question.
Right.
I don't know exactly how useful that is given where we're transitioning, but it's there. Okay? Something else you can create is material. I do want to talk about this for a second. Think of material like curriculum. It's something the students might need access to, but not change or edit or do anything with. Think of it like curriculum.
Resources.
Like resources. So on my normal Google Classroom, as material, I have my guidelines and procedures for my class as material. Right? They don't need to edit it or anything or turn it in. They just need to have access to it. They just need to be able to see it. Under the topic March 23rd through 27th, my 2 lecture videos I put up there as material. I don't need them to change it or edit or turn it in. I just need them to be able to see it and have access to it. So that's what material is. Yes, Mr. Foots?
I just thought of something when you back on the one question thing, click on the create thing up there, the thing where you just ask a question. This is all, I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. This is a good way to do discussion because one of the options, look over in the bottom right, the 2 check boxes. You can have students see the responses. They each individually respond, and you can give them the ability to repost a response or see what other people have responded to a question. And that
After
could be
you've read them all and made sure they're not.
yeah, and it's only for that one thing. It's not just wide open for everything. It's only for that one thing. And their name is attached to everything they say. So that would be a good way to do a discussion.
Okay. I know this is a lot real fast. Sorry about that. And then reuse posts. Once you start doing this a lot, if there's a post from your past that you want to use, you can click reuse post. And let's say I wanted to use a post I already had in 7th period. I can click 7th period, find that post, click it, and click reuse, and it just kind of recycles it, so I don't have to do all the work again. And then the last thing I'm going to create is topics. We already talked about topics, but this is another way to create a topic. Okay, so I am out of time, and I know that was a lot, but there's another group coming in, and I have to vacate the premises. But remember, I'm working next week. Yes.